My name is Paulina. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm an usher here at Middle Church. I was introduced to Reverend Jackie Lewis on social media in 2022, and while I can't recall the details or even the exact subjects she was preaching about, in those early clips that I saw, I remember how it made me feel, hopeful. See, I had broken up with the Christian church in my youth. I loved going to church as a child because I liked spending that time with my grandmother. I liked the performance of it all, the songs, the call and the response, the organ flourishes, the big beautiful hats, the peppermint balls passed out of my grandma or my Aunt Jackie's purse. I loved the idea of a place where I could go and be with God. And when my mom moved us to Virginia and we were away from my grandmother's church, it was a small youth-focused congregation led by Pastor Brett and his wife Athena, where I found a home whose doors were always open to neighborhood kids like me. It was a safe place to do my homework, and it was a place where there was community and fun activities. But as I got older and I started to listen more to the messages, what I heard did not sit well with my soul. I heard a lot of judgment, shaming of people, sometimes for just being who they are, for being who I was. And my little spirit just knew those messages didn't feel like God and didn't feel like the sound of God. Later in life, I learned more about the history of Christianity, Constantine and empire, and the role churches played in the transatlantic slave trade, in the imperialism and colonialism that has ravaged Africa, Asia, and the Americas. And it solidified for me that the church just wasn't a place where God lived. If ever God lived there, not anymore and not for a very long time. But I knew that God existed. I just wasn't sure what to do about that. So for years, I searched on and off, sometimes online, for a spiritual place that felt like home. A BIPOC Buddhist meditation night once a month came close, but didn't quite do it. And then I walked into Middle on Easter Sunday, 2023, while it was holding services at East End Temple. And the choir was singing, and the bodies were swaying, and Reverend Jackie Lewis was preaching about crucifying the white supremacist Christian national Jesus because that Jesus needed to die so that God's people could live as God intended. And I said to myself, oh, word? This is what we doing. And it was clear that this was not my grandmother's church. And during the passing of the peace, Reverend Jackie hugged me and she said, I'm so glad you're here. And I knew she meant it, and she still says it, and she still means it. And I knew that this was the place that I had been looking for, a place where my lesbian mama, who's watching online, hey mommy, could come, and she is a member of Middle Church too. It's a place where my aunt, hi auntie, could see herself reflected in the pulpit. It was a place that challenged me to dig deeper into what it means to love fiercely, to have the courage to speak uncomfortable truths to myself, to power, and to peers who struggle for liberation but use inherited tools of dehumanization and objectification of the people they deem adversaries to justice. At Middle, how we fight is just as important as what we fight for, not because of respectability politics, but because we understand that to govern and lead in the world we dream of, we must keep as much of our humanity intact as possible. Amen. We must fight the way that Jesus fought. Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. Our fight might change the world, but it will definitely change us, and the question is for the better or for the more broken. Middle is the place where I get to take off my armor and let my heart break from the weight of the sorrow I feel each week. It is here that I find a balm. It is here that I am fortified for the week to come. I donate my time and energy to Middle to keep this place alive and to expand its reach. And I invite you to give whatever you can of your time and treasure, because as Reverend Natalie says, you are what makes a movement move. If you've been visiting us for a while, as Reverend Jackie says, please make it official and join at middlechurch.org/join to become a member and to join a new member class where we can get to know you better. And if you have treasure to share, please put it in the offering bag or visit middlechurch.org/donate to give online. That is how I support. Thank you, Middle, for your time.